The Ali Abulaban trial just ended not too long ago, and we are still awaiting his sentencing. But while we wait, I decided that I was going to do a reaction video to a woman who testified, and I thought it created a lot of laughable moments. Um, for a serious case, I really enjoyed this witness. So we're going to go ahead and watch together and see what you guys think.
There was just some like weird moments that kind of like that I thought about later that made me realize it was weird. Like when I showered, he wanted me to use a specific body wash, and I was like, okay. And then I like hit me later. I was like, oh, that was definitely like her body wash. I thought that was really weird.
Why do you say it was her body, the wife's body?
So I'm like, it was like some like brown sugar coconut. I don't know. It was a girly little body wash, and I was like, that's definitely not his. At least I don't think it was. And his insistence on me using that one, he was like, oh, this one's really good. Like, you should use this one. And I was like, okay, sure.
But the defendant didn't say it was his body.
No, he didn't say it was his body wash. I just assumed. This is an assumption. He kept showing me his TikToks, and I was like, what? Like, because it was just funny to me. He spent a lot of time talking about him.
About who?
His TikToks.
Do you recall how soon after the incident or the sex with the defendant that the defendant started text messaging you?
Like for this, like when he was trying to get me to talk to his wife, or which situation?
Well, the first time.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
how soon after? So you left the apartment. Are we now into September 16th? Like when you left the apartment, are we in the wee hours of September 16th? Okay. So after you leave the apartment, how soon does the defendant start sending you text messages?
I think I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember too well. I think because I went straight to bed after that, but like throughout that week was when he was texting me.
Okay. And was it, he was messaging you every day or not?
I think he did it for a few days. I'm not sure. There was one day where he was specifically like when he was calling me and stuff. That was like the day where I was like getting really upset that he was contacting me
Okay.
excessively.
So when the defendant was sending you text messages, what was he saying?
He was asking me to hang out, to come see him, or like to go if I wanted to go out and get food or something. And then, yeah,
What was your response when the defendant was asking you to hang out?
no,
And what about to go out with him for food?
no.
What was the defendant's response to you saying no?
He tried calling me and then asked me to like hear the sincerity in his voice, and I told him I had no interest.
When the defendant was
Which this whole thing is so shady because at this point, Ali was still wanting a relationship with Anna, and they weren't necessarily not together. And he absolutely made it clear that she's not allowed to be seeing anybody because they are still married and together. And yet now we get to at least hear of this one person about him being unfaithful and not living up to what he set the bar at for Anna.
was asking you to hear the sincerity in his voice, what is it that he was saying to you?
I think he just wanted me. I don't know. I didn't know what that meant. I think he was just trying to show that like he genuinely wanted to hang out with me or something, but I didn't really care.
There was no other context to the conversation that he was talking about.
Not that I remember.
All right, and so you said that you would tell him you didn't want to hang out with him or go out to eat, and then he would call you. What would he say in the phone calls?
I didn't really answer them. I think he just wanted me. I don't know. I didn't know what that meant. I think he was just trying to show that like he genuinely wanted to hang out with me or something.
So awkward.
I didn't really care.
There was no other context to the conversation that he was talking about.
Not that I remember.
All right, and so you said that you would tell him you didn't want to hang out with him or go out to eat, and then he would call you. What would he say in the phone calls?
I didn't really answer them.
And the rest of the week that he was sending you the text messages, what else would he say in those messages?
That's as much as I really remember.
And then the time you said he called you about 4 times, did you answer once or more than once?
I don't think I answered at all. I'm pretty sure.
Right, and did the defendant have any conversation with you about whether or not you should tell his wife about the sex between the two of you?
Yeah, that was like later, like I don't know if it was like weeks or like a month later. It was like closer to when everything kind of blew up.
When what blew up?
Like when what happened. Like it was definitely not that same week that he called me about it, but it was like maybe like 2, 3 weeks after it happened, or like the week after that week.
Okay, you're just giving us your best guess.
Yeah.
It's hard to remember specific dates.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so between the time that the defendant was sending you text messages about hanging out to the time that he called you a couple weeks later, was there any other contact by him to you?
I don't think so. No.
And besides him asking you about to hang out with him, was that the gist of the messages that he would send and the phone calls?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, a couple weeks later, when he calls you on the phone, you had a conversation with him.
Yes.
Okay, what did he say to you?
He was telling me that his wife found out and was asking, like, if hypothetically, if she were to call me, like, would I lie for him? And telling me not to, like, what am I gonna say? And he was just freaking out, like, he was talking really fast and just being like, she found out, and was just, yeah, pressing me.
Did the defendant tell you how his wife found out?
No.
So, is this how the defendant starts the conversation? He calls you, you pick up, and he immediately starts telling you that his wife found out?
I think he was texting me before that because I wasn't really answering, and then he was telling me in text that she found out, and then I answered the call, and then he was telling me again through call.
Okay, so in the text messages, what do you remember him saying to you?
I remember him just telling me that, and then the rest of it happened through phone call. The rest of it was him just basically telling me that, like, she might call me, and if she calls me, like, what am I gonna say? And I was kind of like, well, this is not my problem. Like, I didn't know anything, so.
So when the defendant called you and asked if you would lie to his wife, what was he specifically telling you to say?
I think he was just trying to tell me not to tell her that we did anything at all.
And how did you feel about that?
I felt bad, but I was also kind of scared because he sounded really, like not aggressive, but just kind of like his voice was just very different. Like who I was talking to in that moment was like very different from who I was talking to when I first met him.
Okay, so you said his voice was aggressive?
Yeah, or he was just very panicked and was like, "You're gonna lie for me, right? You're gonna lie." And I was like, okay.
So when the defendant asked you to lie for him, what was your response?
I don't remember if I told him I would or not, but I was definitely like scared too. And then when she called me and I did ask the first time, I did withhold a lot of information.
And again, she is saying these things now, but I would be shocked if she made this conclusion at the time. She had just met him, and now she's talking about being afraid of him being violent. I'm kind of thinking that she's just saying that now that we see what happened with Anna. But if not, if she really did feel that way, to all of you women out there, and guys, you can take the advice too if you want, but women, when you're going to your house or apartment, and if you bump into your neighbor that you've never met before and they say, hey, why don't you come back to my place? Don't do it. You don't know that person or what that person is capable of. And as we see even with Ali, he was gaining a lot of followers on TikTok and reasonably well known to some of society, I guess. But you still don't know him. And so it's just not a good idea to put yourself in that situation.
First time I did withhold a lot of information.
Why were you scared to tell his wife?
He just sounded scary, and then from that first time that I met him and stuff, after I had really processed everything and remembered those chunks in the night when he would talk about his wife and just kind of the way that he looked, he just had a look on his face sometimes when he would get upset, it just like kind of all came back to me, and just from the way he was talking, I was like, I don't know what this man is capable of, and he sounds really aggressive, and he knows where I live, so I was really just nervous.
Okay, and so when you said that, when you were with him physically on September 15th, you said he had a look that was scary to you?
Yeah, like when he would get like upset talking about how his wife would go partying with her friends and stuff, or like when he would talk about how he would do anything to keep his kid, like his demeanor was a little bit like it was just different, you know, like his eyes would get really big and he just would look a little scary.
Okay, so when the defendant called and asked you about lying to his wife, was there anything else he said that you can recall?
Not that I can remember now.
Anything else he told you to do?
I don't think so.
Did you end up speaking with his wife, Anna?
Yes.
How soon after that phone call from the defendant do you recall speaking with Anna?
I think it was like maybe like 10 minutes after.
Did Anna call you on your cell phone?
Yeah.
And had you had any contact with Anna prior to talking to her on the phone?
No.
Did she ever have your number?
No.
Okay. So somehow she was able to get your number and give you a call?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when she called you, what did she say?
She was asking me like what happened, and she was like, I need you to tell me what happened between you and Ali. And yeah, I just answered her, but I definitely did not tell her the full thing in the first call.
How did you know it was Anna, his wife, who you were talking to?
I think she told me in the beginning, and also because he just told me that she might call me, and then I get a call from like this number. I don't know. She had also texted me. I don't remember if she texted me before. Sorry. I don't remember if she texted me before or after she had called me, but yeah, she did text me too.
Okay. So when the defendant was calling you and texting you, telling you these things, did you want anything to do with him?
No.
Did you tell him that?
Yes.
Was he, after you told him you didn't want, did you use those words? Like, did you wanted nothing to do with him?
I
Or
think
how
I
did you word it
did.
to him?
I'm pretty sure I did, and I said it wasn't my problem, that he had to deal with it himself because this is his situation. I didn't want to be involved.
Okay, and then, so when you told the defendant that you wanted nothing to do with him, did he still keep contacting you?
I think this was when, like, the first week that he was texting me and stuff like that. He was still, that was when he was constantly texting me, and then I think he just backed off after that, and that's why we didn't really talk that much after, up until he called me to tell me that his wife found out.
Okay, and so when he started to text you and call you that his wife found out, did you still want anything to do with him?
No.
And did you tell him that?
Yes.
And did he still keep talking to you about his wife and what
Well,
you should
he was
do?
just telling, yeah, he called me that one time, and then she called me 10 minutes after, so it happened, like, all at once.
Okay, so the first time that you spoke with Anna over the phone, you said 10 minutes after the defendant called you. You said you didn't tell her the full truth during that call, right? Why did you not do that?
Because the way he was telling me to lie for him made me feel like, you know, if I don't lie, like something bad might happen.
What did you think would happen that was bad?
I don't know, I thought he could get violent. I, my mind kind of went everywhere because, I mean, like, I don't know. I thought he could come to my apartment and try to confront me, or he could get mad at her. I just thought something would go wrong.
Okay, so what is it that you told Anna during that first conversation?
I don't remember. I think I just told her that he found me in the elevator and was trying to comfort me, and I came over and we talked, and that he was being there for me, and that, like, I think that I told her that that was all that happened.
Okay, so you did, during that first phone call, you didn't tell Anna anything that happened sexually between you and the defendant?
I don't think I did.
Or any touching or anything like that?
Yeah, I don't think I did. I think I withheld that.
Okay. And was there any other details from that first phone call from Anna?
Not that I can remember.
So you told Anna that the defendant was just comforting you and talking to you. And then what happened after that phone call?
There was like some time, I don't know how much time went by, but she was still texting me, and yeah, she called me again, or she asked me to call her again, but I was like, not, I was driving at the time, so I called her a little bit later, and then we talked again, and that time I told her more of like what went down, that like he touched me and that we got like sexual.
Okay. So you said that you sent some text messages. I want to show you, it's right in front of you. It's
So
People's
usually
Exhibit
when
number
a court case is being
167.
televised
It's
and
page
they
9.
are showing an address or phone
read through
numbers, they blur it
these
out or black it
messages, and
out.
then let me know
And
if
I
you
thought it was really
recognize
interesting and maybe a
the series of
mistake,
text
but they
messages?
definitely showed
what, the very
the
beginning?
cell phone
Yes, from the
numbers.
beginning to the end.
So
She
if
said-
that,
sorry,
I'm not sure if
not
they're
out loud,
about
just
to
to
read
yourself.
Anna's text
Okay.
messages to this girl or the girl's phone, but either way, they're giving out both or at least one of their phone numbers for the whole world to see.
Okay, do you recognize what's shown here in this exhibit, People's 167, page 9?
Yes,
Okay, what is this?
it's a text message between me and Anna.
So, me questioning if her feelings were the same way at that time, or maybe afraid of what he would do because she later learned what he did to Anna. But if we read the text right here, yeah, she said to Anna that she was scared and is not sure what he's capable of. So she really did get all these bad vibes from him immediately. And that is really good. Yeah, I'm glad she decided to trust her instincts and leave and refuse to see him again. If you ever get those feelings about someone, most of the time they're probably true, and you should just listen to your gut.
So, this was a series of text messages that you and Anna sent to each other after that first phone call?
Mm-hmm.
And you said you don't recall what date, it was just a couple weeks later,
Yeah.
right? All right, and so during these text messages with Anna, is she asking you to tell her what happened between you and Ali, the defendant?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And is she asking you that because she wants closure?
Yeah.
Okay. And then are you starting to tell her some more details about what you and the defendant did?
Yes.
Okay. So in this text message, are you telling Anna that you and the defendant engaged in a massage and foreplay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But you're saying the words, we didn't actually fuck, but you said you weren't telling her the full truth there. Okay. Did he give you a massage?
Yes.
Okay. And foreplay?
Yeah.
Okay. So did you start to tell Anna a little bit of the details, but not everything?
Yeah.
And then in your last text message, where you say, sorry, I wanted to say this the first time, but I was still scared.
Mm-hmm.
Were you telling her that you were scared of
Yeah.
the defendant?
Yes.
Right. And you said, I don't know what he's capable of, and I didn't want him to get mad when he knows where I live.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then YK is that you know.
Yes.
So were you being truthful with her in why you were not giving her certain information?
Yes.
And besides this series of text messages, are there any other messages you recall, text messages between you and Anna?
I don't remember, no.
Right. And then did you have another conversation on the phone with Anna?
I'm not sure if we had another phone call or if we had it at that second call. I just know there was a point where I did like exchange like Instagrams with her, and like she was kind of talking to me like we were friends at one point in the text, I think.
Okay, so you said earlier that there was another conversation that you had with Anna where you gave her more details. Was that over the phone?
Yeah, that was over the phone.
Okay, so that's the conversation I want to focus on now. So what additional details did you give Anna during that second phone call?
I think that was the one that I was referring to in that text message. We're kind of just going over like, yeah, like he massaged me, and then I don't know if I actually told her we like had sex, because I don't know if I even really count that Like, it was kind of more like an attempt. But like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I just kind of reiterated what I said in that text.
Okay. So you didn't tell Anna about him having sex with you for those 3 minutes and any touching involved there. You didn't tell her those details.
I'm not sure if I did or not.
Okay. And why did you not tell her all of the details about what happened?
Because I was just nervous and I didn't really want to, like, I don't know, I didn't want to be a part of it and I didn't think that it was necessary. I thought what I said was enough, hopefully, for what she needed to know was that at the end of the day he cheated. And that was, what she needed to hear.
Okay. And so did you go through with her all of the details about what he did or said like we're doing today in court?
No, I don't think I disclosed that much information.
And after you spoke with her on the second occasion, did you have any more phone conversations with her?
No, I don't think so.
What about in-person conversations?
No,
You had never met Anna?
no.
And then you said that did you exchange some social media messages?
Not messages, but we followed each other on Instagram.
Was she mad at you during your conversations?
She expressed being frustrated, but then she would correct herself and say, like, she knows it's not my fault, and that, she's sorry that I had to get dragged into all of it.
Okay. Did you tell Anna that you did not know the real status of their separation?
Yeah.
After you told Anna the details about what happened between you and the defendant, did Anna tell you that she wanted to leave the defendant?
Yeah.
What did she say?
She was just telling me that, like, they were already in the process of splitting, but this was what she needed to hear. And that she was gonna kick him out the apartment and leave him.
And what was your response to that?
I encouraged it. I was like, yeah, you go, girl. He sucks.
Did you have any other conversations with the defendant after that point?
A little bit. He just was asking me I think he asked me what I said. He was mostly mad that he saw we were following each other on Instagram.
So it's interesting that Ali got mad at them for following each other on Instagram. With all the testimony that we have now seen and heard, we now know how jealous Ali was. But not just jealous about guys for Anna, he was also jealous over the fact that she had so many good friends and how many people really were drawn to her. And I think that this is just another time that that has happened. It really bothers him that this girl, who Anna, by all accounts, shouldn't like because of what happened with her and Ali, but Anna decided that it wasn't this girl's problem and not her fault, and she chose to be kind. And I just think that gives real testament as to the type of person that Anna was.
And he was like, so what, are you guys friends now? And he was just texting me and like all upset about the fact that I talked to her and that we were following each other.
Do you recall when that was?
It was like the same day, I think.
Did the defendant, after you spoke with Anna that day, did the defendant call you again?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Or send you any text messages?
No.
And did you have any other contact with Anna after those phone calls?
No, I don't think so.